This is episode 99, big 99. One episode before the end of Seddy Bimco.
Right.
Episode 49 since season 2 took over. This is your co-host, George O'Connor. And with me is my co-host, Tim Hamilton.
And this week, we're going to watch 1988
Slugs, the movie.
Chosen by you.
Chosen by me.
To go with Squirm.
Yeah, a little companion piece, although separated by some time in the airing, unfortunately.
And every week, you've been away 2 weeks, so you missed it. You probably missed it. Every week we ask an age-old question.
Oh, what's the age-old question this week, Tim?
You know that baby and Rockabye Baby in the treetop, and when the wind blew, the baby fell down.
Cradle will stop, and when the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. Yeah. What about that baby? What about that baby?
Did this Rockabye Baby in the treetop that fell when the bough broke ever get revenge on the mayor of that town for making it illegal for babies to have parachutes?
Seems like that mayor's overstepping his boundaries. Yeah.
Babies be falling all over the trolley car tracks and everything.
Oh no, we're doing trolleys, huh?
It's Seddy Bimco Part 2, The Revenge. The show where we create revenge sequels that nobody wanted.
It's Seddy Bimco Part 2, The Revenge.
Woo!
What do you call it?
America's foremost. Revenge-based podcast, revenge-theme-based podcast. We make up revenge sequels to movies that never asked for them.
And we even ask a wild card question. I pick a number.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, what is it?
Get it out of the way. This is the next to last of this category because there's changes coming.
There can't be much.
But there's changes coming. Oh,
changes afoot, everybody.
Number 10.
Number 10.
You're going to take this note?
Yep.
Oh, I love this one.
Okay, let's hear it.
Who's most likely to put their TV on top of the refrigerator and insist that's the best place for it?
Most likely.
Do you remember what that's from?
Well, this is yet another reference to Boggy Creek.
Yeah, you remember that scene?
Noticed. Yeah, there's a scene towards the end of the original Boggy Creek, folks, where the Boggy Creek monster lays siege to some people who lived in a well-appointed trailer. And Tim noticed with his... Yeah, but they lived in the trailer with their family. It's just the kids are home. And Tim noticed, there's a fucking TV on top of that fridge. And that was the thing he noticed more than like the Sasquatch attacking.
Right. I don't know. Who would put it there?
Jeff Foxworthy.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
Because Cablasto doesn't listen to the show.
Uh-huh.
He's been here the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I did a revenge opening that I don't know. He couldn't take it.
Did he just leave?
No. But don't you get it? Is there a problem with me? I said, did Alfred ever get revenge on Robin for taping over all his butler porn with episodes of Young Sheldon? I
mean, I get it.
He couldn't understand there was such a thing as butler porn. That's all he was caught up on. I'm sure there is butler porn.
Yeah, I'm going to offer, I think he's probably protesting too loudly. I think Kevin Cablasto probably has a wide selection of butler porn, maid porn, chambermaid porn. You know, he probably is really into servant porn, and he felt exposed.
Chambermaids.
Yeah. Tim.
White snake.
No, not white snake. Layer the white worm. Yes. Keeping alive our tendency to make references to obscure bits that we fixate on in past episodes. Another Seddy Bimco hallmark.
So we should just get to the movie because we talk a lot about the movie usually. Unless you have something to say. I just ramrodded right over everything.
Only thing I have to say, Tim, is I want to address a little piece of mail. Do we want to talk about that now or later?
I guess do it at the end. We'll just say we're going to talk about it. So a certain winner? Or do you want to do it now? Yeah, I guess so.
No, we'll do it. Well,
we'll let that person know. We're going to get to it.
We're going to get to it, everybody. Make him listen. Make you listen. I don't know anything about you. 2. I have to do 2 drawings.
Oh, I didn't know if the contest was first come, first serve.
I think it was just, I was so certain that your story, that particular episode, which I wish I could remember what it was so rancid and so, it just went on so long. I thought no one would make it through to the end. And now we have our answer.
Okay.
2 people did. So that's better than I thought.
All right.
We should, so let's talk about
what's a good segue.
How about this?
Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
Go. I was going to say, your story left a trail of slime everywhere it went.
It did?
Just like this movie.
Oh.
That sucked.
Do you want to at least do the synopsis? Can you do that without notes?
I'll do it. So folks, just as a heads up, no notes this week. This is George flying. Although I did watch the movie more than 24 hours ago, which is a plus. But there was just something about this movie. Instead of sitting there, notebook in hand, hitting pause periodically, I'm like, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this ride. And this ride was the movie, as it was, its official title is 1988 Slug the Movie, or as it is known in its original Spanish release, Slugs, Muerte Viscosa, which I'm pretty sure means slimy death.
This was all Spanish actors, I believe.
It was not all Spanish actors, because the main guy was from Warriors. You know, Warriors come out to play.
Yeah.
So what I
missed that.
I know. I pegged that one immediately. So here's what I learned, Tim, and I don't know if people were remarking this in the trivia in various websites, apparently. Mm-hmm. So this movie was filmed in 2 locations. It was filmed in Spain, and that was mostly interiors, and then dubbed. But then it was also filmed in a small town in upstate New York, which I forgot to record the name of.
I could tell.
So, yeah, and
That's
apparently
upstate.
they were trying to do a matching of sets that doesn't work very well. No. I didn't watch close enough to notice that. But they say you could definitely see how what's supposed to be the same house, there is a Spanish version and an upstate New York version.
The Spanish interior.
Yeah, Spanish interior and
stuff.
New York interior and exteriors. So the movie is it's a weird Spanish movie made for an English-speaking audience. The guy who directed it is named Juan Picure Simon. He did another movie called Pieces that I think we should see at some point.
Oh, and Pod People.
Yeah. He did.
He did Pod People. I saw that. That's what I have written down.
Pod People. I think I've seen that. I think that's good. That's good.
It is. It's good.
This is actually, it's actually based on a novel written by a person named Sean Hudson, which I was kind of amazed this wasn't just like a weird Jaws knockoff.
Yeah.
But maybe the novel was. And from what I've read about, I was able to find a synopsis of the novel online. It's actually pretty damn similar to the novel. So this is, we're kind of looking at like a Peter Benchley into Jaws sort of thing, where it's like maybe they elevated a novel. I don't know.
Well, Francesca De Laurentiis, she produced it.
Ooh.
You know what she produced also?
Dino De Laurentiis' grandchildren?
I forgot. This is his child? But she says she produced Conan.
Wow, really?
That's what I read. And The Rift from 1990.
The Rift.
Don't know that.
Is that the one about the No, that's The Keep. I was thinking The Keep. That's the one where like the Nazis get a demon in their labyrinth or something.
Yeah. I think that's The Keep.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yep, that's The Keep.
You said that.
I said that, yeah. You don't have a lockdown on mentioning the term Nazi in this show, although people may disagree. They might be like, oh, Tim and his Nazi references. Yeah, here's the synopsis. Yeah, for reasons, basically, I guess I'll give a little spoilers in my synopsis. A series of mutant slugs start eating people in a small town in upstate New York. Mm-hmm. It is revealed that is probably the result of toxic waste, though never conclusively so. And our hero, Mark, I forget his Mark or Mike Brady, who is a health inspector, he needs to save the town because whenever he says giant carnivorous slugs are eating people, he is rightly treated like a lunatic.
Right.
And then also, I would bet money there is a version of this which is a softcore porn.
It wasn't too much nudity. Although everyone in this movie was very horny. Adults,
that's why
kids,
I think
cats, dogs.
And there was some nudity, and there was a lot of scenes of people being like, let's get dirty and let's get naked and crazy. That's why I'm saying I think there's a version out there, like maybe go to Spain where like slimy death means something different, where like they don't cut away from them being naked as much.
No, these people were odd. They came home from work all tired. One guy's like, I want a steak, but let's get naked.
Yeah, everyone immediately. This is like a bunch of people who are descended from bonobos because they immediately use sex as their way of relating to each other. That's probably a reference lost on a lot of people. Yeah. Bonobos are apes that instead of using violence like the way chimpanzees and humans do, they settle all their dispute with rubbing each other's genitals.
Yep. And some bonobos, they write their phone number on their eyelids and blink at other bonobos they like. That's where Indiana Jones got that from.
It's very
he was out
famous.
In the jungle and he saw that. He's like,
but the problem is bonobos don't have written language, so it's weird drawings of bananas and stuff. Bonobos, what stupid animals, dummies.
You start out. So, you didn't take many notes, but
I want to talk about the opening scene.
You do? Okay.
So far as I know, this has no playoff anywhere else. There's these two people in a lake, and there's a guy fishing, and he's got his feet hanging into the water. And there's a blonde lady with him, and she's like, I want to take off all my clothes.
Yes.
And she's about to take off her shirt. And I'm like, oh, is it this movie? When he starts screaming and he gets pulled into the water by, as it turns out, we don't see it now, slugs. And I should mention, when I say these are giant slugs, folks, this isn't like a 6-foot slug situation.
No.
This isn't even like a 1-foot slug. It's like, these slugs are big. They're like, maybe the biggest is like 6 inches long.
Yeah. Like a burrito, a little burrito, a little Taco Bell burrito.
Like if you saw this slug, you might in real life you would point to go like, "Good Lord, that's a giant slug." But it's not like it's not going to eat you whole. And it's also a slug. It moves like a snail's pace, literally,
or a slug's pace.
The slug's pace is maybe. So this guy gets pulled into water. There's a huge geyser of red, and what happens to the lady? She just screams, right?
We never see them again,
and we never even hear reference to them. Yeah,
nope.
No,
she might have fallen in.
This is a scene tacked on after the fact. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, they just had, I don't know, extra money.
And it's also
that never happens.
It's a weird external scene. I already said like the internal scenes, like scenes shot inside, seem to be shot in Spain. This one, judging by the fact everyone is dubbed, was another Spanish shot, and I just think it's something they threw in the beginning.
Yeah, sell it. That's the short film they made to sell it.
Oh, you might be right. Maybe it was the trailer. It's like, slugs, they're going to eat you.
In the short film, she had a lot of clothes. Took them off slowly.
I mean, I want to emphasize, people, we got very close to seeing some boobs here, but we did not. Tim, question.
Yes.
Slugs, they don't swim, right?
I don't know much about slugs.
Yeah, I feel like slugs don't swim.
But they survive underwater.
Maybe. Is this a case? There's no people who are a fan of my theme song. I regret to inform you, there's no George's currency Kerner here. But maybe in this episode we could do George's slug habitat news or something.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you weren't here for massage parlor murders.
Oh, was there a lot?
The opening scene was all, and this was shot. Just imagine a Jack Weiss film, shot like a Jack Weiss film. That's number one.
I'm already super sad I missed it.
Opening scene is a man in a massage parlor, and the whole time she's like, "Want me to take my shirt off? Cost you $20." He's like,
my God.
How about 15? And she's like, nope, $20. And they go through a whole thing. After she takes her shirt off, she's like, I can make you feel good. $40. The whole time he's just like, how about $30? Anyway, it was made for you.
Okay. By the way, Tim, I just looked it up. Slugs cannot swim. In fact, one of the most popular ways of controlling slugs in your garden is tricking them into a container where they drowned.
Of alcohol, though, I think.
Beer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or beer.
They can withstand brief periods of immersion underwater, but they drown after several hours.
Oh, hours? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time. They can get
maybe
out.
This is okay.
You got to stand there for an hour and hold them down?
I'm just saying, like maybe the slugs. You know what? Also, normally slugs don't eat people, so let's just assume that's part of the mutations. All right.
There was an old man, but I have no interest in this old man. He was not fun at all.
Well, Tim, he's such a Jack Elam. How could you say that?
He treated his dog badly.
That wasn't his dog, I read.
I was like, yeah, why are you dragging it home?
Yep.
I couldn't tell.
Well, here, just for those you don't see, then the next scene we have is an old man who, like, some teenagers almost run over.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
And he's yelling at him. And those teenagers, by the way, that's the same teenagers who later on in this movie commit sexual assault and don't play any trouble for it.
Right.
That was weird.
Spoiler.
Anyway,
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, spoiler. So these teenagers almost run over an old man, and he yells at them. They yell back. Then he finds a dog, and he kind of drags the dog to his house. And he goes into his house, which is
Piled with garbage.
Just piles of garbage on the floor. He eats a pizza off the floor, which I was not having. I was having a rough time with that. And then he eats a little bit, and then takes the rest. And instead of throwing it back on the floor or out in the front of his house, he throws it in his basement.
I know, piles of garbage.
Just piles of garbage in the basement, which like seems like probably the worst thing you could do with like your garbage.
If it is his house. Oh no, he's getting evicted. Sorry.
Yeah, later scene he gets evicted. So it is his house, and then
understand.
we see his basement is a roiling mass of giant black slugs too. Right. Then he goes and lays down on a couch.
So he
and we can't see this point of view. Like the back of the couch obstructs his view. He lays down and immediately starts screaming.
He turned on the TV. He wanted to watch the new hit show Renegade.
Ooh, what is Renegade about, Tim? Renegade. Oh wait, no, this is real. I thought you were making up a Tim thing. It was a TV show?
Yeah.
All right, Renegade TV show. Wow, look at that show. Lorenzo Lamas.
Yes. Lorenzo Lamas and Renegade. He sat down to watch that show.
All right. I don't think that matches up time-wise.
Shh. It's close.
No, it's not. This is a full 4 years before Renegade premiered.
Oh, he's sitting down to watch the premiere of Star Trek Next Generation.
That might be. Is that 88, really?
Yeah. It's like, I don't like this plot. This planet turns into a big space jelly monster.
Is that really what the first episode of Star Trek The Next Generation was about?
Yes, a space station. They're like, something odd's going on here, but the space station was a giant jellyfish, space jellyfish.
Guess there's a reason I never got into Star Trek.
It gets better. So now we meet
something eats him off camera.
Yeah, something eats him.
Yeah.
Then we go to a nightclub and meet annoying
Question
people.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Does the dog die?
I didn't know what happened to the dog. I don't think they ever showed us.
All right.
It got away.
Good. That's good.
Got on a bus. Went to Brooklyn.
That's a smart That's a smart dog. All right. So then we're at a nightclub.
The Ashton. I wrote it down.
Ashton's the name of the town.
Oh, all right. Oh, I said another fun-filled night in Ashton because they look like they're having a terrible time.
Okay.
Don't they?
Yeah. This did. I even though I immediately clocked who the main character was, I had trouble telling him apart from his friend.
Yes, Mike is the main one, right?
Mike, yeah, Mike Brady.
His wife Kim. They meet the sanitation man. I'm like, foreshadowing.
Yep,
he's there,
and he looks remarkably like Mike Brady. Like,
yes,
they decide to cast. It's like, we're looking for two guys about 5'10" with kind of mousy brown curly hair. And clean shaven, and they're just basically the same guys going after the same sort of parts.
Yeah. And his wife, Kim, another lady says, "Oh, you don't look like a bitch." I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
And she's
what
like,
the fuck?
All the children call you the wicked bitch of the West because you give homework. And
what? Yeah. How is that friendly conversation? Also,
I know.
And like, I'm going to say something a little bit maybe ageist here. What is the sanitation workers guy's name? Yeah, Mike and Don. Don's wife has to be at least 15 years older than him, right?
Yeah, you're being ageist.
I am, but man, Tim, not that there's anything wrong with that. Love finds its way in all. I literally thought she was his mother.
Yeah.
Until there's a scene later on when they're making out, and then it was like I was kind of startled.
The inevitable scene where she comes home, like, I'm tired.
Yep.
Let's get down.
Interestingly, like, while a lot of the male actors did seem to be American, I feel like every female actor was Spanish and badly dubbed.
Yes, very.
And they all had very deep, husky voices.
And that's the first thing she says to Kim. You don't look like a wicked bitch. You know how she got that nickname?
Because she's soluble in water?
Because of the terrible homework she hands out.
Oh, you said that already, yeah.
You know how terrible her homework is, George?
How terrible is it, Henny Youngman?
It's so terrible. The dog won't even eat it.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
It's so terrible that most kids refer to it as the Dave Matthews Band of homework.
Oh, that is, wow.
It's so that's terrible. The exchange student from New Jersey actually wanted to go back to New Jersey.
Wow, exchange student from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Was that a list?
A little one.
Is that a list? That's a little list. That's the folks. If you review your episode of Seddy Bimco like a fine meal, that was the appetizer.
I don't always do 2.
Yeah, you do.
I do
You
not.
always sneak in a stealth. You might not call it a list, but it's like the list that didn't take off. You're like, I'm still going to use it.
That one took off.
Yeah,
that one has wings.
It
It drank
sure
Red Bull.
Yeah, it definitely is. It has wings like Paul McCartney. How's that? Beatles reference, everybody.
Oh, Kim and husband make out while Snail watches in the window. Did you notice that?
No, I did not.
You didn't. There's a snail in the window.
Why do we have so many movies where slimy, like we've had movies now where people make out and worms watch them, movies where people make out and snakes watch them, and now we have slugs.
Oh, don't forget
what's going on?
The naked woman that the monkey watched.
Golden
Amazons.
Golden Amazon. Like, no watching naked ladies for you. And he smacks the monkey. Our rich back history.
Rich back history. Almost 100 episodes.
Woo! Episode 99, folks.
So they have to go evict this guy.
Well, it's the next morning, and for reasons I don't understand, Mike, we learn his job is he is a health inspector. Mm-hmm. He accompanies the sheriff to evict this guy.
But they knew something was wrong, I thought.
Well, I mean, he's a guy who throws all his food in the... I don't think they were expecting anything wrong.
But the sheriff is overly overdoing the asshole bit.
Yeah.
Right.
The sheriff's a real terrible asshole. Also dubbed, so probably Spanish.
He's like, don't smoke in my car. I don't know why he doesn't like him.
I guess because he's a health inspector. I mean...
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? Do you ever see the Donald? Snatchers. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Another movie where the health inspector is the main character. Like that doesn't happen often.
No.
That's a movie I would say we should do for this, but that is certainly a movie that's too good for Seddy Bimco.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I started watching it again recently and didn't finish it. I had no reason. I was just tired. But
okay.
I mean, it was good. I forgot Jeff Goldblum was in it. I was like, yes.
Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy, of course. I remember him being in it.
So
they show up at the house.
Yep.
They
go through the window because no one answers.
They go through the window because nobody answers the door.
And the other cop says, "I never smelled nothing so awful as this. Not even in Nam." Got Vietnam again.
yes, Vietnam reference. If I had been keeping notes, I would have delightedly written down the fact that we had a Nam reference, but I was not, so I did not. And our hero, Mike Brady, goes, "Oh no." And we see what he sees, and it's like the partially devoured corpse of the old man from the opening scene.
Yep. Skeleton, right?
Kind of skeleton. Here's the thing. I remember him having eyes, but then they later on said, "What ate his eyes?" So I guess he didn't have eyes.
No, there's a lot of inconsistencies we'll get to.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm willing to I'm going to say that's probably my fault more.
I think I remember eyes too.
Yeah, it was like a skeleton with just eyes. I'm like, ooh, that's weird.
And one of the eyelids fell down. It had a phone number on
it. But it was written in bonobo, so it was just a drawing of a banana. Guys, we are such good yes-anders. So then they go outside, and they're like, what could have done this? And there are big silvery trails leading all over the house from the man's corpse into the basement. Mm-hmm. Now, look. I'm not going to say my first thing I think of when I come across a body is slugs ate them, but there's very few animals in the world that leave as distinctive a trail behind them as a slug does.
Yeah, we all know that.
Or a snail. It could be that. Like, Tim, if you find a body missing its skin, possibly has eyes, possibly doesn't, and there's a bunch of silvery, slimy trails leading away from it in lines into the basement, what are you going to think? Slugs or snails?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Or gnomes.
Gnomes. Oh, could be gnomes with leaky bottoms.
Yes. Oh, they have to go help a nasty lady with a little dog because her plumbing's backed up, right?
That sounds familiar.
That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
And at school, at school, the kids are talking about the guy that got his eyes eaten out. That's what I have written here.
Oh, that was interesting, actually, because, the part that is next is Mike goes to visit his girlfriend, the Wicked Bitch of the West, at her school, and we see a little bit in class where they're talking about Romeo and Juliet, which I thought was going to be a theme. Yeah. Nothing of that ever comes up again.
Something important happens. I got to mention, George.
Ooh, what?
A girl named Beth, she's like, I'm sure it's the goat killer. Did you notice she goes on about the goat killer?
A couple times she goes on about the goat killer.
So
there was definitely a plot line with the teenagers that got cut out of this.
But beyond the Halloween party?
Yeah, I mean, the goat killer thing keeps coming up. There was I don't know.
Well, maybe I'll fill in the blanks on that, everybody.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Well, here's a question, Tim. Like, this is a serious question.
Oh, no.
So he shows up there in his lunch break. He goes there. He talks to the teacher, and they're going out to lunch, and she's like, how was your day? He goes, well, I won't tell you about it if you want to have a good lunch. She goes, oh, yeah, I heard about Mr. Bell. How did she hear about Mr. Bell?
The kids. The kids told her.
How did the kids hear about it? He literally just came from the house where he discovered that had happened.
I don't know. It's a small upstate town, George.
I think, all right, new theory, Tim. Slugs didn't kill.
You think the goat killer was telling people?
I think the kids killed it. I think the kids ate him. And the silver was their pencil shavings and their drool. I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't take notes.
Well, Mr. Sanitation guy has to go into the sewers and find out what's plot.
This is at the lady's house. They go to the lady's house who's mean.
Yes.
She says and for some reason, Mike Grady is also there because he's everywhere.
Yeah. He's like, what's going on? Oh, he's got a hunch. Mm-hmm. So he goes down and he pulls like a lot of gross stuff out of the sewer pipe.
Yeah. I'm not actually. We see him pull out like what looks like. I thought maybe it's a giant slug at first. Yeah. It might just be a big chunk of meat. It's something pink and gross. You don't really see what it is.
Then he pulls out a old Jesus from a nativity scene.
But it was a reptilian Jesus. Yeah. It was a lizard on a cross. And he's like, I sure hope the Smithsonian doesn't see this. Yes. Then, in your version, Tim, did you suddenly cut to commercial when you came back? He was just looking at his hands like, where'd it go?
Yes, that's what happened.
Smithsonian, they don't want us to know that those giants ruled the earth in those days.
Because then he pulled out a Playboy from 1969 with Precious.
Oh my gosh,
Precious Waters.
Precious Waters.
Centerfold.
Yeah. And he was really mad because somebody had done the crossword in it.
Right. And drawn a mustache on her.
And what else can we do?
Oh, Mega Stuff Oreos. Mega Stuff Oreos.
Was that a thing?
Kevin admits to buying Mega Stuff Oreos. I made fun of him.
Ooh. All right, so Kevin, I'm calling you out because best part of Oreos is the chocolate cookie.
There's double stuff and there's mega stuff.
Double stuff's even too much. That's too much.
Bigger. Kevin's eating those. All right.
How many
he doesn't listen.
Does Kevin have a full assortment of toes? Do we know that?
I've never seen them.
If you eat Mega Stuff Oreos, you lose a couple toes here and there. Kevin, if you have a full allotment of toes, or if you have a theory of how many toes occasional co-host Kevin Cablasto might have, write to us at Seddy Bimco with an E at the end at gmail.com. Yeah. All right.
Teacher Kim.
Something in the sewers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Teacher Kim.
Well, I think she goes back to school and then she gives homework and they call her the wicked bitch again. Or we're cutting between scenes maybe. I don't know.
I don't remember them going back to school, but yeah.
Well, they all go to a local diner where the kids hang out. Mm-hmm. And Beth is like, I'm pretty sure the giant goat killer did this.
Yeah. I want to see the movie Beth thought she was in.
Something evil got that old wino.
It was the goat killer, I'm telling you.
Give us a break. Don't start with that goat killer shit again.
It's not shit. He really exists.
Who exists?
The goat killer. He comes down from the hills at night and he kills people, and then he eats them.
Oh, that's gross.
You know, like a goat killer is a better antagonist than a bunch of slugs. Yep. Oh, you know what we're missing here?
What?
Maybe this is before, maybe this is after. When did they find the slug in the garden?
Somewhere around here. We're going home.
This is a key scene. Unless
Kim's house.
Do we need any more about Beth and her goat killer theories?
They just hang out there and she talks about it. They play Billy Joel on the jukebox.
Yep. They play We Didn't Start the Fire, even though I don't think it was out yet.
No, they play.
They're like, yeah, what a hot new song.
Yeah. Anyway.
And there was different verses for it. It was like an alternate history version.
It was.
So instead of JFK blown away, it says JFK, he's okay. Yeah. It's weird. This is from another universe.
Smithsonian.
Smithsonian.
I don't know.
Smithsonian took our lizard Jesus away. What else do I have to say? What a good episode.
What a good episode. Yeah.
So at some point, Mike goes to the teacher's house And he's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm working in the garden." He's like, "That's what you call it?" And we see her garden's covered with slime.
Yes.
And we see a giant bunch of slugs in there.
Yep.
This is my favorite special effect in the whole movie. He reaches down towards the slug.
Pet it.
It's done well. I will say this.
Yeah.
Like for just a second or two, this thing has a fucking full-on mouth and teeth, and it bites him. Ow! He's like, ah!
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. And then he grabs it in a jar, and they take it to the science teacher at the school. It took me a while to figure out what this guy was. He has a outrageous British accent, which is kind of funny.
Wait, can I say one thing that I've got here?
Yeah.
I was confused. The other lady also, she goes home, and she gets out a drink and starts watching war movies. Is that the other wife, or is that Kim?
All right. Yeah, there is a confusing bit in here because at some point we're introduced to another friend too of Mike.
He's a businessman. He's a businessman. He wants to have a deal with a shopping center.
He also looks like them.
Yes.
He has a wife who also looks like the other Spanish wives.
But there's a whole thing with her just coming home, getting a drink, watching a war movie, and as soon as he comes home, she's like, "Oh no, I better make dinner. Look busy."
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
She makes a comment later. Like there's some subplot that got cut. She's like, "I'm sorry I've been such a bitch lately. I think it's he goes drinking." She goes, "Yeah." It's like, what is this plot? I just want to they take the slug to the English science teacher.
They do.
Who tells them about slugs. Slugs have 3 rows of teeth. They eat vegetable matter. And then he realizes that this slug is something different because when he's analyzing the slug, he cuts one open, which definitely was a real slug they killed. So this was like clearly not a U.S. because you can't kill bugs and slugs and stuff in movies.
Nope.
And then the other slug crawls through a cage and like pretty upsettingly kills a hamster.
Yeah, I was very upset because he just watches that slug murder that hamster.
And hamsters are not animals you could train to act. I feel like they really fucking killed that hamster.
That was Benny.
Was Benny the hamster?
Yes. And he didn't even try to save him.
Nope.
You know why?
And the hamster, why?
You know why? Because I got a list of reasons why. He just let that slug murder Benny the hamster.
No, why?
Well, number one, Benny was
number one on the list. It's a Spanish movie production. They don't have protections for animals.
Yeah. Benny was always trying to convert John to the Presbyterian Church. That's one reason.
That's justifiable.
And Benny was pretty dangerous. His prison nickname was Benny, Killer of Many. That's your weapon. And the last one,
so stupid.
Benny never flushed the toilet. So there you go.
Tim.
What?
I'm just saying Tim.
But you do have to back up. You missed a couple that we were introduced to. We were introduced to the Lockhorns, basically. They were living Lockhorns.
I didn't realize that was before this. Yeah, this is important.
Well, they intercut a lot. They just introduced that they got slugs on their leaves, and the wife's like, clean those slugs.
And folks, if you listen to Seddy Bimco, you know what the Lockhorns are. It's a comic by Bunny Host and John Reiner. It's about a couple that just hate each other and step out. It really was like this. They were just like old couple griping at each other. They have a greenhouse. The slug gets inside his gardening glove.
Ooh, yeah. It was,
and he puts the glove on.
Horrific.
Yeah.
This is the most horrific part of the movie.
Ooh, I think there was one that was more horrific. We'll get to it.
Oh, yeah. So,
actually, there's 2 that's more horrific. This is the 3rd most horrific.
And he's yelling for her help, and she's inside listening to music from 1920s, vacuuming and smoking a cigarette. It's like paying the scene right out of the Lockhorns.
Yes. She really did look like Loretta Lockhart.
Right.
Lockhorn. Oh.
So since she can't hear him, he basically gets an axe and cuts his hand off because he can't get it out of the glove. And
because the slug is holding it on. Yeah. Pretty gruesome.
Yep.
And while he's doing that, he knocks over some gasoline.
Yep.
And she runs out to find him as he cuts his hand off. And of course, she has a cigarette in her mouth.
And she goes, oh no. And the cigarette flies. And
the whole greenhouse explodes.
Yeah, it was like a house they blew up. It looked like real.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Like, this movie, I realized this was not a cheap movie.
No.
Like, there's some pyrotechnics in this. Like, they definitely blow up a house here. And wait till the end of the movie, they blow up a lot of houses.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers.
Maybe it was miniatures at the end. I don't know.
Man, I don't know. Even if it was miniatures, it was good. It was done well. Also, the special effects, pretty good for the most part.
Oh, this is why we come to Mike and Kim, because Mike drives up and Kim's guarding.
Oh, yes.
And Mike,
yes.
What's the name of this couple? Oh, Harold and Jean's their name. Because he says, did you hear about Harold and Jean? They're dead. And he's like, I really like them a lot. They were nice people. And I'm like, no, they weren't.
It was actually better because he says, no, but I like them a lot. As if people he likes couldn't die. In that moment, Mike's entire worldview was really challenged. He's like, no, see, you don't understand, wicked bitch. Only people I don't like die. With someone I like, they live forever.
And that was all he said, because then he's like, oh, look at these slugs in your yard. That was it.
Yeah.
That's how we got there.
He loses a lot of friends in this movie, and he pretty much takes it in stride. Like, that guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, at the end, like, this guy has like 6 funerals to go to. And like, he just doesn't care.
And his friend's name is...
This is the friend, we should say. This is the friend who's the businessman who has the wife with the drinking problem.
She fed him a slug in the lettuce, basically.
This is hilarious. Yeah, she asks him what he wants for dinner. He's like, I actually could picture a salad.
Yeah.
So she makes him a salad. She's cutting a big head of lettuce, and we see like one of these big black slugs just being sliced up in it. It's gross.
It is. And
then we don't see him eating it, luckily, but then they fuck. Mm-hmm. It's cut for later, for the Spanish like softcore porn version. We see it, yeah. Then they're sitting around in robes afterwards. She comes walking down the stairs all sexily,
and he's like, I don't feel so well.
It's so funny because he's sitting there in his briefcase, and I keep thinking it's a laptop, but of course that technology doesn't exist yet.
That's funny.
And he keeps like burping. He's like, oh, that salad tastes pretty salty. Now, Tim, what's the one thing we know about slugs?
Oh, right. Salt kills them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
It does not make sense.
If it was salty. So anyway, I guess he eats the slugs, and she seems fine. But he keeps feeling like, oh, my chest. Oh, the pain.
I wonder if she didn't eat the salad.
I think maybe she poisoned him. All right.
But then we go to the two. Here's my notes. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you fill in.
The one teenager, another subplot, another teenager, another person with a drinking problem. Yeah, he's waiting for this girl's parents to leave so he can sneak in and supposedly have sex. But he's like, oh, wait, you got alcohol.
Oh, he gets such whiskey dick, too.
Yes.
His girlfriend, who has like almost no lines in this movie, she shows her parents go out of town. She flicks the lights on. He runs into the house. She's in like red lingerie. She immediately lays down on this weird slab-like table in front of him. Mm-hmm. She's like, you know what I want, Billy? And he's like, oh, your dad's got whiskey.
Yes.
And he drinks some whiskey. Then we cut to them fucking on a waterbed.
Is that why the bed sounds so funny? I didn't know.
Yeah, that's if you notice they're like digging like
sound like plastic.
It's terrible. Like they're sinking into it. And we see a lot. We're seeing so much of Billy's butt.
How'd you know it was a waterbed?
You could just see it's a waterbed.
I wasn't sure.
I mean, okay, it's either waterbed or just the sheer frenzied thrusting of Billy's hips.
The Foley artist had a bad day. I don't know.
Like there was the Foley art, and also you could see like it's sloshing. Like
yeah, I guess so. I thought they would use it if it was,
No, they don't use the environment very well because he has to stop in the middle of sex because his
needs a drink.
Penis has gone limp because he needs a drink. Yes. So he drinks more whiskey. I'm like, son, that ain't gonna help you. Then he gets off the bed, puts his foot on the floor.
All slugs.
And he gets a slug in his foot, and it's going in his foot. He's going, oh.
And then she runs away and falls right on them.
Yeah, and then like it's like about 5 minutes of this lady laying. I felt like we were watching Love After Death. It was a naked lady laying on her belly.
Are you sure it wasn't more like Mardi Gras Massacre?
It could have been that too, but that's when we only see the front. We only saw her like laying in the back going, right. Slugs crawl over her, and she's got blood all over her, and like they're slowly eating her. And Billy's watching from the bed just crying because he's got a slug in his foot, and he's seeing this girl be eaten. And then he kind of goes to the.
He tries to get away. He doesn't
save her.
No.
Yeah, she's like reaching for him. He's like, no, you're slugs. They're very fast.
I thought he'd poke the waterbed open and wash them all away. Come on.
That would have been smart. Or like salt, just his sweatiness. He tries to go for the window. He falls. He gets eaten by slugs too.
Yep.
I just want to really spotlight home though. Like we see this woman naked on the floor, a slug stuck to her back.
Yes.
And blood, like just, it's like 3 minutes. Yeah. It's like, it was doing something for somebody, but that somebody was not me.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Text you sent me.
Oh, the text. When did the text read, Tim?
It's like, oh boy.
Oh boy, bloody naked lady on the floor of slugs. I think this has awoken something in me.
So then the police come and find the kids skeletized.
Do we see that? Because I looked away for a second.
They come to the house. They don't.
Yeah, but do we see the skeletons again?
I thought I did.
Maybe. I don't know.
But he says, what next? Demented crickets? The cop says that.
That was a good line.
Crickets that talk to wooden puppets? What's next?
Because we should mention the whole time, Brady, who is clearly, he's the Brody equivalent.
Right.
He's the entire time trying to convince them that slugs are doing this.
Yes. And
of course everyone's like, yeah, the sheriff is like, you're fucking insane.
So then he goes.
And even though Brady turns out to be right, it's right to think he's insane. He doesn't really, there's a way to break the idea that slugs are killing people on them. And the way Brady does it is not the way to do it.
How would you?
Well, I have the slug that bit a person first.
Oh, yeah.
I take them and go, check out this slug. Watch how you stick your finger near it. Bites you. Oh, look. And then these slime trails. Oh, there's so much evidence there.
True. When he leaves the slug with the professor at school, he doesn't even say, oh, watch out. It bites. He didn't say that.
No, Brady's an idiot.
He was like, oh, you'll see how special it is.
Yeah. You might be pleasant. What if that professor was a guy who liked to kiss slugs?
Yeah.
He would have had no lips.
He's professor. He's responsible for poor Benny dying.
Benny the hamster.
Yeah, Benny the hamster.
Pour one out for him. I just want to really stress to people the footage of Betty dying was upsetting because this hamster had a slug attached to it. It was rolling around screaming. Like, you can't train a hamster to do that. Like, I think they really fucked up a hamster.
Unless it was a fake hamster. I'm not sure. I don't want to look again.
Now, at some point here, the sewage worker guy, Don, he has put together a theory. He's like, check this out. We kept finding dead animals in this one spot here. Turns out this used to be a toxic waste dump back in the 40s. Yep. And now it's the sewers from this spread out. And if you look, they go to Mr. Bell's house, who's the first guy gets eaten, to the teenager's house. Basically, these slugs mutated from the toxic waste and are traveling along the sewer system.
So guess what?
House by house by house.
If you got an outhouse, you're safe.
If you're an outhouse, you're safe unless the dreaded Boggy Creek monster comes.
If you're an attorney,
you
have an outhouse.
Oh my gosh.
You're safe.
So we have a theory.
Dave is
Who's Dave?
They do cut to Dave. Dave is the one trying to sign a contract for a shopping center. And he's out to lunch. Yeah, so we cut to that.
So yeah, Dave, who is his third friend, the one who ate the salad that had the slug in it, the one who had the stomach ache. And his whole thing is he is trying to close a business deal for a shopping center.
Big deal, like $5,000.
He and the mayor. Yeah, that would have been a case for George's currency.
There you go.
He and the mayor are working to do this. Grady comes and tries to convince the mayor about slugs, and he's rightly turned away. So then we're at this restaurant, which was an Italian restaurant in this town. Dave is there with this lady and this guy who represent these outside influences. And they're like, well, I don't see where we should wait. Let's sign the deal.
Yep.
The entire time Dave every once in a while clutches his stomach. He's like, oh, mi stomaco, es muy lleno de dolor. He doesn't actually say that. But this scene is bananas, though.
Yeah.
He feels a little sick. He goes to the bathroom first. He's washing Warner's face. He gets a nosebleed. He's like, oh. He knows something's up.
Yeah.
He wipes his face off. He comes back out. And they're like, I think you'll feel better after hearing this. They tell him the deal's on. He's like, let's drink to it. Yeah, they clink their drinks. He takes a sip and blood pours from his mouth into it. Yep. He's like, oh. And then
what happens? I looked away. I fell asleep.
Slugs. Oh, did you? Okay.
Blasto texted.
He hits. Oh, that'll put you out.
Sent me a picture of him eating a mega stuffed Oreo.
Oh, how gross. Got to stop doing that, Cablasto. So then what's the guy's name? David, Steven, whatever.
Dave.
The friend, Dave. He hits the ground behind them in this crowded restaurant and starts screaming. And like just baby slug. Oh, they're not baby slugs, as it turns out. These worms start shooting out of his eyes. And his face is just like, it's It was a very good special effect. It was very upsetting. Yeah. So this guy is apparently a close personal friend of our hero, Mr. Grady. They're like, oh, your friend Dave died. He's like, oh, okay. And they go to talk to the the science professor, who's like, these are called blood flukes. They're a special type of parasite that one can get if you eat a slug. Can I interrupt for a real life horror story?
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Remember a few years ago, there was some kid on a drunken bet ate a slug, and then like he got a parasite from it, and
that's right.
They had to remove all his limbs, and he like never recovered, and he died.
Ooh, I just knew he died. I didn't know they had to.
Yeah, don't eat slugs, folks.
Yeah, don't eat slugs or Tide Pods.
Or what else should you not eat? Let's make a list. Human flesh.
Chick-fil-A.
Don't eat the Chick-fil-A. Yeah, don't eat Chick-fil-A. I would eat Taco Bell for Chick-fil-A. Don't eat rocks, small rocks.
No, or pet rocks.
Living hamsters. Don't eat living hamsters. What else?
I think we got off.
Yeah, yellow snow.
Mega stuffed Oreos. Don't eat those.
Don't eat mega. Oh, that's the worst of all. That'll make worms come out your eyes.
All right.
So, right. Good list.
They have super thin Oreos. You know that?
Like
they're one half
thinner than usual.
Yeah, they're like barely a schmear of filling. I'm not kidding.
That's the ones for me. I believe you.
And then they have no filling.
That's even better.
And then they have chocolate wafers that they cut in half. All right. Anyway.
And then they have Hydrox.
Yes,
folks, that was a Tim Hamilton joke, everybody. If you liked that and want to hear more jokes like that, write to us. It's Seddy Bimco at the end at gmail.com.
Rex R. McGillicuddy, he wrote that one.
Oh, that guy. We got to get rid of him.
Okay, Sheriff. He hates everybody. What's what I got here? Don figures out the construction let out poison gas loose. Oh, this is...
that's the part I said. I went out of order.
And they interrogate the chef at the restaurant, and he's just like, we don't have worms here.
Oh, he was an Italian stereotype. It was awful.
Yeah.
We know I got a worms here.
That was terrible.
Yep.
Don't do that.
Yep. That's what they did. They literally did that, folks.
Oh, he tells Mike that slugs are say the word.
Let's hear this. Hermaphroditic.
Yes. He goes there. He's like, what? They're hermaphrodite what? Even though he's in New York State. Come on. And you know what?
Wait,
I wanted to make sure I spelled this right, and I looked it up on the internet. I found so many statues of hermaphrodite. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. I never saw these in art history. They've hidden these from me. The Smithsonian has stolen them.
Yeah. As the resident Greek mythology fan, let me tell you, Hermaphrodite is the child of Hermes and Aphrodite. Most of Hermes' children tend to be unusual. Hermaphrodite is no difference. I think in most accounts was born a man and then became a part female, but sometimes just born straight up as a hermaphrodite, but has both sexual characteristics, and is a series of a very famous set of statues where it looks like it is a young woman laying naked on like a slab. But when you look from the side, you see a little ding dong sticking out the side.
I saw many statues. Yeah. I was upset. I'm like, I never saw these before. They were hidden.
I mean, surprise. Yeah.
They were hidden from me. People, look for these statues.
Folks, buy my book series, Olympians. Hermaphrodite does make an appearance.
Learn all about Hermaphrodite.
I like that. Like I like that their name is just a complete conglomeration of their parents' names.
Yeah, that was lazy.
So they realize that like these worms can reproduce, and the only way to kill them, nobody ever says salt. Surprisingly. No. The scientist, the English teacher, I keep saying the English science teacher, he invents a chemical thing that if you spray on them, it makes them explode in fire, which, as they point out, considering they live in the sewer, which is filled with methane gas, might be a problem.
Yeah.
We'll come to that later.
And there's also a baffling scene where there's a slug in her sink, and she calls Mike home, like crying and screaming. I'm like, well, you could leave the house, but...
Yeah, you could also like grab the slug and put it in a glass.
It was just a slug that came out of the sink. You'd be safer if you left your house, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's shades of Squirm, where worms came from the sink.
Which reminds me, there was a meeting we missed where Dave has a meeting with the mayor and the people doing the deal, and Mike comes in and says, "Don't do this deal. The water's full of killer slugs." So they're like, "You mean if I turn on the water, slugs will come out?" And
yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm a total idiot. Yeah, I believe that they're ready to go at a moment's notice. Yeah.
So
they run the water for 20 seconds. He's like, well,
you're a liar.
Get out of town, idiot. Like I said, this guy, he is a really bad lead. He's really dumb.
Oh, there's also when they there's another cop whose name I don't know. He's like the assistant cop. He's the one that said, "This looks worse than stuff I saw in Nam." Remember? But later, when like more people get killed, he says, "This is the most exciting thing to happen since that guy got drunk and walked down the street naked." Remember that?
You're right. Yeah, I think that was a callback to previous episode, The Son of the Blob.
Was it?
He's talking about Tiger Marsh running down the street naked. Woo!
He also said it was the most exciting thing to happen since the time a naked guy got dressed and walked around the nudist camp. Yeah. It's also the most exciting thing to happen since Billy Johnson won the spelling bee by stealing the letter O and preventing Lisa Jenkins from spelling hermaphrodite correctly. Hermaphrodite. I mean, she didn't spell.
Oh my God.
How do you say that word?
Hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite.
Yep.
I'm spelling hermaphrodite correctly.
It's literally, it's Herm from Hermes on the front of Aphrodite, but you could say Hermaphrodite. That's the name of the character. But then when we say it, it's just hermaphrodite.
Good. Hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite.
Yes, that word. Hermaphrodite. Woo!
It's the most exciting thing to happen since this town was voted home of the most terrible homework in the United States.
Ooh, nice. Call back to the Wicked Bitch.
I'm going to leave that one out.
Wicked Bitch strikes again.
So let's move into the end game because I think we're there, right?
Yeah.
Because they failed to convince the mayor, and I guess what's funny is that that deal got signed, no problem, and like there's never really any repercussions from that.
Nope.
So what's his name?
Mike. He goes to
Mike
to the
Brady
sewer plant. Oh,
goes into the sewer with the sewer worker guy. Okay.
He goes to talk to the man who runs the sewer plant. Remember, he just barges in and says, "You got to shut down the sewer plant." Which I wrote down what he said. He said, "Mister, you don't have the authority to declare a happy birthday."
Got the authority to declare happy birthday. Not in this town.
Crazy son of a bitch. What's it gonna take?
For
Because
starters,
there's also a Halloween party. The
mayor.
kids are in the woods having a Halloween party.
Yeah, while they're going in, while Brady
Mike
and Don are going into the sewers to blow up the slugs.
Well, actually, he says, "We got to lure them to one spot." And Mike goes, "You don't mean what I think you mean." And Don goes, "Well, I got a better idea." Did you ever find out what this idea was? How to lure them? Did I miss it?
I thought it was the idea was because the stuff that the teacher created was explosive. They wanted to actually lead them out of the sewer because they kept saying it was a bad idea to do it in the sewer.
Yeah, every idea they had was bad. But
yeah, this is all bad ideas. While this is happening, the teenagers who we intermittently check in and are having a Halloween party with no costumes, no hint of it being Halloween. The weather seems very temperate for upstate New York.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know what this
Halloween.
was supposed to be.
Beth is very upset because the giant goat killer could come at any minute.
She literally is. He's not even joking, folks. And another character we met, never got her name. She gets sexually assaulted by one of the people.
Right.
Falls off, runs away, falls into a hole, gets killed by slugs.
Yep,
dragged away. And that's the end. And like, these kids don't pay the price. These are the same kids who almost killed the old man in the first scene. I'm like, we're never going to see these kids. Like, these kids got away with sexual assault and almost murdering an old man. And I don't know, weird message, but okay.
Weird message.
Don and Mike are in the sewers and they're finding all these slugs everywhere and they're in like hazmat outfits. This entire scene, this whole sequence is like 15-20 minutes. You really can't tell who's who because they're wearing like only thing that's visible is like part of their eyes and they already looked alike.
And here's where they skimped on the budget because when it's a wide scene of the slugs, they're just plastic slugs. They don't move. If you noticed.
Well, I didn't actually, but
they weren't moving.
There was an important scene earlier where they see some slugs, and this is hilarious. They're in water. They're standing in they're in their knees up to their knees in water, and one of the two guys gets the idea. He's going to use an acetylene torch to burn through an exposed power line.
Right.
He burns through the power line. The electricity falls into the ground, into the water that they're standing in. And like we just see sheets of electricity electrocuting maybe slugs.
And they like run away. I'm like, you can't outrun electricity. What are you doing?
No, I just don't know why it happened because we see the slugs. We see footage of like it's literally like a slalom course of slugs. There's so many slugs with electricity drawn over it, like blue crackles. But I mean, I don't think they're being killed. And then they walk into another room where there's like more slugs.
And they're talking to the science teacher because he's supposed to be opening a manhole, which he can't open.
Oh, he's an idiot. Up on the surface, he's supposed to be opening a manhole for them to get out. And he has a pickaxe, and he is the dumbest man in the world all of a sudden. He invented an explosive device.
Yeah, but he should know how a fulcrum works, right? He's a science teacher.
He does. No idea of how a lever works. He gave me strong Pretzi from Hercules in New York vibes.
Yeah. Yep. Because when he was in the truck, he seemed all happy. He was like, yep, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to this plan. Because they're talking about how they could die.
Yeah.
I forget, but he's like laughing in the truck. He's having a good time.
Oh, was it? No, that's it. There was definitely talk about how they didn't want to blow up them inside the sewer because of all the methane.
Yeah. Of course.
But he's trying to let them out of the sewer. So they find this one room.
He said he had something to lure with them earlier, and we never found. I never heard what that was.
I don't think they. Yeah, it's entirely possible they don't say. The sheriff pulls up and catches him trying to ineffectively use a pickaxe to open this thing, and he's like, "I'm sorry."
He just stares at him.
So
he doesn't.
So here's where we're at. So like, there's the kid. No, we'll leave out what the kids are doing because like that's just stupid. Yeah. Brady and Don are in the sewers, and there's like a big vat that they say is full of slugs.
Yeah.
And they brought like a bag of meat, and they throw the meat in there as a distraction. And we see the water froth up, just like what happens in that earlier scene, like the opening scene. And they're like, there's too many slugs. We can't get through that way. So they're trying to open a vent, maybe to flush away the slugs.
Yeah.
A huge amount of water comes out, blows Don right into the fucking vat.
Right.
And he gets eaten. And that was disturbing.
And he's the one, by the way, everybody's horny in this movie. He's the one that said goodbye to his wife. It's like, I'll be back soon.
Yep.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
and
he mentioned he had 2 daughters. Oof. And like there's a scene where he says, "Why are you doing this?" He goes, "I have a wife and 2 daughters. I don't want this to happen to them." So I'm like, the guy who has the most to lose, we see him get eaten horribly by slugs. In a surprising bit of athleticism, Brady like kind of shimmies out over a pipe very quickly.
He does some acrobatics, not him. Yeah, now that's why they're wearing the suits.
Oh, you're right. And there was a double almost certainly because this guy was very strong and very agile. Tries to save this guy. He bobs up and like the back of his head's eaten out and his brain falls out. I'm like, that's disgusting. So he's dead.
He's dead.
And so Brady climbs up the ladder to the sewer thing really quickly with the teacher and the sheriff there. And he's like, it doesn't matter. We gotta kill these things. They kill my friend. Mm-hmm. And he shoots from the surface worlds the
surface world
chemical that the chemical that blows up
everything.
Slugs.
Yeah.
And here's where we get this true sense of the budget of this movie. So immediately a geyser of flame shoots up through the manhole cover where they are. Yep. And as we had learned earlier, all these houses, all these parts of town are connected along the same route of the sewer. So we're seeing house after house after business exploding.
He killed a lot of people at night.
So many more people died from him blowing up without any warning than died in 7 people get eaten by slugs, maybe? He must have killed 50.
And only one of those people was nice.
2 of them, right?
Okay, 2.
No, they can't be dead. They were nice.
They were nice.
Nice people don't die. Yep. And then we see on the grill, there's just one slug still alive.
Did we?
The last scene. No, seriously. The last scene is like on the sewer grate nearby. There's one. It's like lit red underneath, and there's a slug just sitting there. So that was Slugs.
Yeah, that was quick. We missed a lot of fun stuff.
Did we? What else did we miss?
Just some good music and.
There was some good music.
That's it. That's all we missed.
Really quickly, Tim, did you enjoy this movie?
The It's good. No.
No? I think if you had to choose, if you were locked in a room and you had to watch either this movie or previous Seddy Bimco movie, Squirm, which would you watch?
Oh, I think Squirm's more fun. Oh, come on.
Yeah, weirdly, I feel like this should have been more fun because this had a lot of full-fledged nudity, better special effects. In almost every way, it was a better movie than Squirm, but I enjoyed Squirm more.
Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you.
Revenge.
One of us will die. One of us will die.
I will not let
All right, so first, before we go to Revenge, we have our wild card, which, if you recall, Tim, was which character from the movie Slugs was most likely to put a TV on top of the fridge and insist that is the best place for it.
I think we know.
Who?
It's the cop that went to Vietnam. He put TV on top of the fridge because it was safe up there from all the water, the moisture, and the snakes.
And the Viet Cong.
And the Viet Cong.
He goes, yeah, the Viet Cong, they build tunnels.
He slept on
They come through the tunnels and they get you, but they can't get the tunnels on top of the fridge.
And
So we're safe here. Yep.
But
oh wait,
was that your good out? You're done.
Yeah, that was the good out. Well, he was. He always ruined it. He was in the same Ranger unit as Ted Hawkins from Crypt of Dark Secrets, and the guy, Bo Hunk or whatever his name was from Beast of Boggy.
Was there a Bo Hunk?
Potai? What was his name? He had a really weird name, but we should make fun of him.
Was he from Vietnam too? I don't.
You remember the guy who was like, I saw some shit in Vietnam, a creature from Black Lake.
Oh yeah. I forget their names.
Pootie. What was his name?
Yeah, his name was a weird name.
Poowad.
That's right.
The three of them.
They had a reunion there that weekend, and they were in their house when the gas exploded. Sadly.
And the thing that blew it up was Poowad cooking some hot hamburgers because that's all he would eat.
The other two.
This is good. Yeah.
You're like, I think I smell fire, but he was like, what? What?
What do you mean you smell fire? When Ted Hawkins, he got blown up, but he was okay because Damballa brought him back to life. Right. Folks, if this makes no sense to you, it's because you haven't listened close enough to our back catalog.
Wow.
Yep.
It was good. It's good till I said but.
Yep. It's always good until you say but. You got to keep them short and sweet. Yes and has no room for buts, Tim. I think I'll go first.
Oh, you wrote one. You took no notes, but you wrote one. Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. I watched the movie and I immediately saw there was something that didn't make sense to me.
So many plot points. So we'll start the music.
There's a lot of plot points that don't fit together. Oh, music's up. There it's going. Okay. So this movie, I chose this movie obviously as a companion piece to Squirm. Both of them are about slimy garden pests, or in the case of worms, garden aids, becoming carnivorous and eating people.
Did you say garden aids?
Garden aids, yeah.
Garden aids
helps.
It helps.
It helps.
Oh, all right.
Not AIDS like the terrible disease, Tim. In Squirm, electricity is believed to be the culprit that turns ordinary worms into stone-cold killers. In this movie, we learn it's probably a cocktail of toxic waste left over from the 40s. However, when our heroes, Don and Brady, are trying to dispatch the worms, before they use the lithium-based explosive device that ends up blowing up the entire town, there is a scene where they use an acetylene torch to melt through an electric wire, and they electrocute a bunch of slugs.
So we think.
As we noted, the slugs, we don't see smoke. We don't hear them screaming like stuck pigs. We see them moving off quickly. Because, of course, slugs are closely related to worms. And if we know one thing, electricity makes worms killers. So, Tim, what happens when a killer slug gets hit with electricity?
He becomes a electric eel.
Well, kind of. Becomes a super duper killer slug. And they slough off in enormous numbers down the drain. Because they hear somewhere off in the distance, in their dim gastropod minds, they hear like a tickling, a calling to them. Gastropod means stomach foot, by the way, people. And they know they must go to someplace. They travel miles through the New York City past New York City through the New York sewers, and they come out into an urban hellscape. Millions of these electrified mutant slugs. And they look out into the air and they raise their heads up, and in the distance, projected on a cloud, they see the symbol of a bat. That's right.
This story's always in Gotham City.
They're in Gotham City. And wouldn't you know who's right there? None other than the archfiend of Gotham City himself, Wormface.
Yeah.
Yep, as last seen in Squirm, yep. He goes, I called you to me, my slugs. He reaches his face down. One half of his face scarred by worms, one half normal. The slugs instinctively crawl into the normal side of his face. He becomes Worm Slug Face.
Jesus.
Yep. And he renews his campaign of terror against the do-gooders of Gotham. Yep. I think last time he had killed Robin. This time he kills Batgirl.
And did he steal Alfred's butler porn?
He steals Alfred's butler porn. He replaces it with donkey porn.
Okay. He doesn't even notice.
Alfred doesn't notice. He's like, it works. Gets the job done, Master Bruce. And do
you need a butt? Are you just making this up?
Yeah, I'm just making this up. But then here's the thing: the slugs did have a sense of justice, and they take Worm Slugface and they override his mental commands, and he goes down to the town of Ashton, and he finds where Brady lives because that town is just destroyed now.
Yeah.
And all those slug brethren died, and all those people brethren died, and they're going to go kill Brady. But it turns out the town folks have already barbecued him because he killed all of their families while they slept. And Slug Wormface sits there with gastropods and worms dropping on his face. He goes, well, I just feel silly now. And he steps off into the night. To be seen again? Who knows? Tune in next episode for episode 100 of Seddy Bimco.
True.
The end.
Ironically, I had an uncle named Stomachfoot. So,
wow.
No, I don't want to go into it.
Yeah, it's a very painful memory.
Oh my God, Gotham City.
To be fair, Tim, Gotham City's only come up twice in this. It's almost always... I could have made this a Spider-Man villain, a much more popular recurrent theme for me. I didn't, so I think I should be commended on my restraint. Yeah.
One more time, we get sued.
Ooh.
I got a call.
Was it the estate of Steve Ditko?
No, just DC Comics.
Oh, wait.
They own the copyright on Butler porn.
On Batman?
Butler porn.
On Butler porn.
All right.
True story. If you have the DC Comics app and you're reading stuff, and it's a very poorly designed app, and if you're reading through a comic and like it takes too long to load because it takes a while to load, a little picture of Alfred will pop up and say, sorry, we're having trouble serving that to you right now.
Is this true?
It really does say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going somewhere with that.
Nope, that's it. Just a true story. True story about DC's shitty comics app.
And if it takes a really long time, does he start to shrivel and age?
If it takes a long time, if you watch, he just kind of shifts uncomfortably and looks behind him, turns around to the back computer, and hits play on the Butler porn he was watching. And you can watch Butler porn with Alfred if you're lucky.
All right.
This is good stuff. This is good.
Play my music.
What a good podcast.
Play my music.
All right. It's playing.
So Beth is the girl who was always worried about the giant goat killer.
Oh, I knew you were going to do her.
And Beth's father was killed by the giant goat killer, and she wants revenge on the town for not taking her seriously about this. You know, they're busy ignoring Mike and his stories of slugs. They're also ignoring
I have
her.
a question.
Yeah.
Yes. The giant goat killer. Was it a giant goat who was a killer, or was it somebody who killed giant goats? And if so, was Beth's dad a goat?
It just looks like a goat. That's why she calls it.
It looks like a
two-legged goat. Okay. Like an evil...
Right. Like a satyr.
Evil satyr.
Like a satyr.
Yeah.
Evil
Evil
Does
satyr
he eat cans?
who's a hermaphrodite. Which is, I'm not shitting on that. I'm just saying that's...
You said both terms wrong.
He's a creature of mythology. Her dad worked hard for the town at the dump. Many was the day he showed Beth how to work the giant compactor that crushed old worn-out nativity scenes, and posters for that naughty movie, The Last Temptation of Christ, and tons of terrible homework that the wicked bitch gave out. So one day, while Beth was with her dad, as he was towing away a broken and worn out nativity scene, the goat killer showed up, and Beth's dad tried to fight him off, but the monster killed him and ran off. So today, when Beth notices that people are still being killed in town, she knows it's the giant goat killer. He usually kills people putting out nativity scenes. Thus, Beth makes a goat killer costume out of her mother's shag carpets she never got rid of in the 1980s. But she only has the wise man head she stole from Miss Chester's nativity scene to use for her mask. Thus, she becomes the goat killer to hopefully be seen and scare people into action once they see it's real. Yes.
Why does wearing a wise man head make you look like a goat killer?
Well, she got a marker and drew a beard on it and evil looking eyebrows and painted it red.
Okay.
So thus, but just as she is about to run down Main Street, she sees the real goat killer, and it eats old man Bob as he was passed out and sleeping in the manger of the nativity scene in town.
Oh, it ate him?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Beth, dressed as the goat killer, sees this from across the street, sees the goat killer wants to steal the baby Jesus from the manger, but runs away as is afraid of the wise man head that she's wearing.
The wise man goat head, yes.
Frozen.
Actually, sounds like you described a devil head. Wise man goat devil head.
Frozen in her tracks by the horror of what she has just seen, she ends up getting arrested by the sheriff for stealing old Miss Garvey's wise man head.
Miss Garvey now.
What was her name before?
I don't think it was Garvey.
Miss Chester. It was Miss Chester.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought it was a new character. Okay.
In prison, she realizes that the goat killer was drawn to the baby Jesus, like most crypto creatures.
Or as you might say, cryptids.
There's other cryptids.
Yep.
Just like Bigfoot.
Hermaphrodite.
Just like Bigfoot and other cryptids. She deduces if she can get that baby Jesus, she can lure it to the town garbage dump and crush it in the compactor.
How? She's in prison.
But first, she needs to get out of prison. And because the town has been blown up by that silly event with the gas.
By Grady being an idiot.
She just sneaks through the floor because it's full of holes. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. She puts on her goat killer outfit and heads into the woods with baby Jesus. And the scent of the plastic baby Jesus soon attracts the goat killer. And soon it's following her to the dump. And she ran through a tree and it tore off her goat costume and she just looked human. And the goat killer chased her into the dump and almost caught her. But she found an old Tom Hanks head from the hit movie Big in the garbage. And it scared the goat killer. As she started up the compactor, she put it on her head. She painted it red. And she put little evil looking.
Wait. Why was there a Tom Hanks head?
From the hit movie Big that had just come out.
Yeah, but I don't remember. Folks, do you remember there being 3-dimensional Tom Hanks heads when Big came out? I sure
to
don't.
Promote the movie.
Okay.
At the theater.
All right, okay.
What was the name of this town?
Ashton.
Ashton had a big opening for Big. Tom Hanks showed up.
Okay.
Had a parade.
That makes sense.
Baby Jesus and the manger was in the parade.
Yep. I don't know why she keeps dressed up like a goat when she's chasing by the goat. This story has more plot holes than the movie it began.
She starts up the compactor as she tosses baby Jesus into the compactor. The real goat killer jumps in after it and yells, "My precious," and is thus crushed by the compactor. So, she staggered back into town and fell asleep in the nativity scene and got arrested again for sleeping in the nativity scene. What did I write here? That's the end. She was put back in prison and she felt really good about everything. Even though, she felt good that she had killed the goat killer until she saw on the bathroom wall of the prison
after
that
credit
said,
scene.
Yeah, on the bathroom wall it was written for a goat killer time called Beth. There you go.
Oh
my God.
Whew. Tim,
I got to shorten these. I admit it.
Yeah, that was.
I admit I got to shorten these. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a typical movie as having a 3-act structure, the typical Tim Hamilton revenge sequel has like a 7-act structure.
Not 7 acts.
It should be studied in film school. Yeah, about 7 acts. Pitches back and forth.
She told people about the goat killer. No one believed her. She formulated a plan after seeing what happened. And then she went forth with that plan and killed the goat killer.
Yeah, but you forget that then she gets arrested, goes back to jail, escapes, dresses up as the goat killer again, gets chased by the real goat killer, loses her costume, finds the Tom Hanks head, turns that into a goat killer costume, gets it again, kills the goat, then goes back, falls asleep in a nativity scene again, and gets arrested again.
I guess I could edit a few things out, huh?
The Tom Hanks head was the part that really had me scratching my head.
I took out a lot of parts where people were like very horny after getting home from work.
Oh, God, no. Oh, I thought you were making a fucking goat joke.
Oh, no. Just from this movie.
Yep.
So we do have a letter that was written to you.
Woo!
And
you
were
read it?
away for 2 weeks, so we saved it for you.
Yep.
Well, it just says, it just answers your question. Your secret phrase. What was your secret phrase?
Secret
do you remember?
So it was, I think it was greased up. No, it was oily Aztec goddess, I think.
Okay, well, Zachary Presley
So,
wrote in. He just wrote that to win whatever you offered.
all right. So,
another person too.
Who else?
A Mr. Kevin Kablasta.
We're not going to write anything to that guy. Did the first gentleman,
Yes.
did they supply us with an address?
Not yet. I guess
right.
we'll say, hey, send us an address, Mr.
We could also,
Zachary
since they
Presley?
wrote us Zachary Presley, no relation to Elvis, presumably.
I guess not.
Please send us well, actually, you know what? Why don't we just send them an email so it doesn't take months?
Oh yeah, I can email. I can email back.
And I will send you, if I recall, this was something that happened probably, considering the special word was oily Aztec goddess, it was probably on the Jack Weiss classic,
Yes. One of them.
Crypt of Dark Secrets.
Yep.
And I think what I promised was actually a drawing of Damballa, the oily Aztec goddess herself, on a postcard.
Oh.
I'll do that for you. So we'll send you an email.
Do you think
Zachary
think
Presley?
we need proof from Mr. Presley that he's older than 11 for a picture of Damballa? That's why we can't send one to Mr. Cablasto. He's definitely
Kevin
11
Cablas,
years old.
he's on a bunch of. He's also in a lot of lists that prevent people from sending him that sort of material.
But I'll email him.
I don't think
he's on the Discord. So
okay.
I really do.
Zachary Presley.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. I guess because you're assuming I'm going to draw her in a profane way, but I'm just. I was going to draw her wearing a hazmat suit.
Okay. It is a postcard, so it's got to get through the U.S. Postal Service.
That's also true. Yeah. So you know what? Sorry, if you were expecting a really spicy drawing of Damballa, this is going to be like, because she's like, that's a real gumbo sort of movie.
Yeah.
Real Cajun. This is not Cajun Spice version.
Well, we'll find out how old Mr. Presley is. Don't want to get in trouble.
Yep.
Don't want to get a code
like
name
it, Tim.
from the Secret Service.
That's true. Yeah. Secret Service now is involved in this sort of thing.
All right. We talked.
Episode 99 in the can. Tim. Episode 100 is next. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a big announcement. As you know, every 50 episodes or so, we like to pivot a bit in the show. We have a big announcement as to the theme coming up with episode 100, but we do have a movie to fill out this current incarnation, this revenge-fueled incarnation of Seddy Bimco. It's a movie, probably the most perfect movie for Seddy Bimco. Tim, what is that movie we're going to watch? No, I don't. I think Boggy Creek was. It's all let down since then. But
can I get the...
Trying to hype up the people. What's the movie we're going to watch?
It's called... Garbage Pail Kids.
The movie.
The movie. Have you ever seen it?
That's right. No.
Okay, I've never seen it either.
My sister owned many Cabbage Patch Kids growing up.
No relation.
Nope. Her first one was named Lars Jeremiah. I remember that. And it was a bald baby, and my brother had a suction cup arrow set.
Ooh.
And I remember the day he shot the suction cup arrow at Lars Jeremiah, and it actually stuck to his plastic head.
Uh-huh.
And I laughed so hard, and my sister cried so hard. It was just such an epic meltdown day.
Wow.
So I hope some of that hilarity and chaos is captured in
Did she fall on the floor and cry? I would like to picture. And did you fall on the other floor and laugh and pee your pants?
Honestly, if I remember this correctly, she cried and then proceeded to pummel my little brother pretty badly. I think there was a lot of crying all around, and I think I got yelled at for laughing. It was all bad. But all these years later, I still remember that kid's name. That it was a doll, Lars Jeremiah.
You made me Lars Jeremiah. What an amazing name, Lars Jeremiah.
Right? At that age, I'd never heard the word Lars before. I'm like, wait, is that really? That's a name? We're gonna pretend Lars is a name. Why don't I name the kid Jeremiah? For those of you who don't know, Cabbage Patch Kids, each one was different. They were all unique, and they would you would be given a little. It would give you a little birth certificate with them that would tell you the doll's name, and it was all different names.
And
Lars Jeremiah.
My niece had one called Hermie Hermaphrodite. Hermie
Hermaphrodite. Oh my God! Why can you not say this
Hermaphrodite?
Word?
Right?
No.
Say it again.
All right, Herm, like the dentist from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Herm Afro, like the hairstyle.
Oh, hermaphrodite.
Yep, hermaphrodite.
Oh,
hermaphrodite. You're like Hormorphidor. Woo!
We better go.
We have fun on this podcast, folks. All right,
Instagram and Threads. I'm on Threads now. We are, and
check out our new website.
Wait, everyone's on Threads. Around Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram. Listen to us everywhere. Check out our new website. There's a blog there with some pictures. I posted the cat from Love After Death that George didn't see.
But I saw it now. Thank you, Tim.
Email us at seddybimco with the E at gmail.com. And we talk so long. That's it. You have anything else to say?
Yep. I got nothing.
Nothing funny? Come on, something.
See us next week
as we watch
something
Garbage
funny.
Pail Kids. Created by two
kids.
cartoonists. The stickers. We'll talk more about that.
Created by the creator of Mouse.
Yeah. And another guy.
Yeah.
Don't leave him out.
Yeah, some other guy.
All right, bye.
All right, bye, everybody.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party line.
I'm telling you.
Give us a break. Don't start with that goat killer shit again.
It's not shit. He really exists.
Who exists?
The goat killer. He comes down from the hills at night and he kills people, and then he eats them.
Oh, that's gross.
You're on drugs, girl, I swear.
Either that or you need professional help.
Grab if you want to, but he's real, and he got Ron Bell last night.
We got Ron Bell last night.
I'm hungry, babe. Give me a burger.